There's been a ton of discourse and trade talks this offseason so far, particularly around Damian Lillard and Bradley Beal, and honestly the entirety of the Trailblazers organization. However, one name I keep seeing brought up in and out is a young star named Zion Williamson. Now, it's no secret that you all know this man, former high school and college phenom, and Mr. Jump out of the gym. Zion Williamson was one of the best prospects we'd ever seen in recent years, and honestly, all time. It feels like just yesterday we saw the Pelicans luck into getting the first overall pick in 2018, and then choosing to draft Duke native Zion Williamson. I think most people have no problem admitting that he's a really gifted player on the court when he can play. But that's just the problem, the when he can play. In his short NBA career, he's only played 114 out of 246 games. And if you add the 82 games that he missed in his third season, or third year, I guess you'd say, because he was out the entirety of the year with the foot injury, he would be missing or playing in only 114 out of 328 games, which is just under 50% with a season high 61 games in his sophomore season. But I just like to compare that to some notable big men in today's leagues. They're stars, of course, and former or current, I guess you'd say, MVP Joel Embiid. In his first 3 seasons, he played a total of 31 games, and he missed 164 games in a row, missing the entirety of his first 2 seasons following the draft. I believe he was the 4th pick in he was the 4th or the 2nd pick in 2015. Just saying that off the top of my head, but because he didn't have as much pressure and the media wasn't exactly what it is today with the social media on top of the regular media, the noise was nowhere near as loud and the criticism was nowhere near as loud, and people kind of started running with the idea of trusting the process. I just think the big problem with the media is that they demand a headline, they demand instant gratification, they want everything right away, and I think that with younger NBA stars, the media and people tend to forget what it means to exactly be young. We're not talking about Paul George or Kawhi Leonard or Anthony Davis where they get injuries but they're pushing their mid-30s. You know, we all know Father Time is undefeated, but this man Zion Williamson is 22 years old. He's going to turn 23 on July 6th this year, so less than a month. Even if he missed every game for the next 7 years of his career, he would still not crack 30 years old. Just put that in perspective, guys. You can't just decide to trade someone because he's missed a lot of time in his first less than 5 seasons, because Zion's upside is way too big. When he plays, he's one of 7 people in the NBA right now to be averaging 25 points per game on their career. And when Zion's out there, he's boasting numbers of around 26 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 to 5 assists a night. And this season in the Wild Wild West, the Pelicans were the number 1 seed through December when Zion and the rest of the team was healthy, but then unfortunately we saw injuries to Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, and CJ McCollum, which started a 10-game losing streak all in a row. It was absolutely awful. But again, Brandon and Zion and CJ were injured a majority of that. I know CJ came back around the 7th game, but they ended up still losing 3 in a row. Here's the thing, that team, the Pelicans this season, Zion Williamson, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Jonas Valanciunas, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Jose Alvarado, Larry Nance, and many other talents, that team is good enough to compete in the Western Conference if healthy, especially with Willie Green at head coach. They've been a very talented, deep, young roster, and it's just a matter of staying healthy. If Zion were to be dealt in a trade to the Blazers and they somehow kept one of Grant or Anthony Simons, I think that team would be a contender as well. Zion is just such a ceiling raiser for any NBA team in many ways outside of his athleticism. He honestly kind of reminds me of Nikola Jokic, just in the manner that he garners so much attention on the floor. He's so much bigger and stronger than everyone, so he can exploit one-on-one matchups. He's able to make quick decision passes even in the air, and he's an absolute unit who's entirely gifted at springing up and fiercely grabbing rebounds. And I didn't even mention the fact that he plays all-world defense, both near the rim and on the ball. Sometimes he can get blown by, but he has a great job rotating his hips and recovering, and more often than not, we're seeing monumental blocks from Zion. His game will truly never go out of style, and what's even better about it, he's an unselfish superstar, and he's such a complimentary superstar. He could be the main option or the number 2 guy who still possesses number 1 capabilities. I keep seeing reports about how Zion Williamson's relationships with the Pelicans staff and the players isn't the greatest, but I just think that it isn't true. If you watch any media day clips and if you watch the way he acts and is electric on the court, it's very clear that he shows his emotion, and it's very clear that he values his relationship with Brandon Ingram and CJ, and even head coach Willie Green. Now, it's no secret that he was a very big fan of assistant coach Teresa Witherspoon, who was just recently let go a few days ago, but I'm not going to say that that would trump everything and make him instantly have zero relationships with the entirety of the Pelicans front office and roster. In fact, to start the season, Zion dropped a quote in the media following back-to-back wins against the Nets saying, "Our team is deep. We have a lot of pieces. It's different. I haven't played with a team like this through my entire life. The closest was college, but at the pro level, this is something different. I say it all the time, but this is a special team, and I'm excited to see what we're going to do." Clearly just implying that the future is bright with this squad. I know it, Zion knows it, and all the other Pelicans know it, including CJ McCollum, who said the same thing on JJ Redick's podcast when he was on a few months ago. I'm not trying to curate a narrative that everything is going to be okay in New Orleans or wherever Zion lands, they're going to be an instant contender, but I am saying it's a little bit ridiculous to call a career over or try to quit on a former number 1 overall pick saying that, oh, he can't stay healthy and play when he already has a 60-plus game season in a short 4-year NBA career, and he's going to continue to learn how to condition his body and stay healthier with young talents going from college to the pros, especially ones that are that size and caliber of athlete just all over the court. There's a lot of figuring out how to keep your body in check, and when you need to rest, this isn't someone like a guard or a big center who doesn't move that much when he's jumping. Zion, like his athletic ability, I mean, you guys have seen this entire video and the clips I have him on the screen. He is literally jumping out of the gym, and it's very, very hard to maintain a fine balance of keeping the weight, so you can say dominance, but also staying lean and healthy and eating good food and resting and stretching and making sure everything is right with yourself. And also in today's league, learning when and how to rest your body. The last thing I want to touch on before ending this one, if Zion ends up getting traded to the Blazers, I kind of briefly touched on this earlier, and they keep one of Anthony Simons or Jeremy Grant, it's just going to be so much fun to watch Damian Lillard and the pick and roll with Zion. Zion is one of the only people in the NBA who can get you 25 a night without even shooting the 3. I mean, he shoots like 37% from 3, but it's on less than an attempt a night, so it's nothing really special. It would just be absolutely electric to see Damian Lillard play with someone who could actually have a pick and roll with him. Dame has made Yusuf Nurkic look like a borderline all-star, so I would just adore to see what he has going with Zion. But what do you guys think? Should the Pelicans keep Zion? Should they consider trading him to draft Scoot Henderson? Because Brandon Miller, as of this morning, has solidified his spot as the 2nd overall pick. Let me know in the comments below. If you made it this far, I appreciate your support as always. Have a great rest of your day. Stay happy, healthy, and blessed. Peace.